Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I am slouching in my couch on a Monday because today is a court holiday and I decided not to go into work because I can do that because I'm almost a full grown adult. Anyway, I got this comment from Jeff Gray of Honor Your Oath, who, again, I like. I enjoy his content. I like the way he interacts with the police, generally speaking. So I get it that a lot of my subscribers don't like him, but I do. And so anyway, I made this video. This is Florida Special Honor Your Oath and Catch You Later Legal Talking Points back in January. And he's getting around to watching it, so thank you for watching it, Jeff. I don't feel like I'm getting through to Jeff, though, because in this video I talk about reasonable suspicion and probable cause and what it takes for an officer to be able to lawfully pull you over. Now, apparently in this video, I haven't watched it, but I'm going to guess that I said that he made a lawful U-turn on purpose to draw the attention of the cop, and I might have said that. I don't know. Don't really care. Doesn't really matter. The point of the videos that I make are to teach you about the law, not to teach you about facts. It's to teach you about the law. The facts in the situation, think of them as a hypothetical. The point of the exercise is to give you the tools that you need so that you can apply the law to your particular situation, because you won't always have the benefit of my hindsight with you. So if you're going to go out and audit, if you're going to go out and record traffic stops, if you're going to go out and chase down DUI wolf packs, then you might want to understand what constitutes reasonable suspicion and probable cause, and it might avoid interactions with the cops that you may not want. So that's the point. It's not the facts aren't necessarily meaningful in these. If I get the facts wrong, look at how I'm applying the law to the facts that I present. I think that's the most important thing. So apparently I said that he did a lawful U-turn on purpose, and that's what got the cop to pull him over. And I said that he did it to draw attention to himself. So he says, "Hi, Merb, I didn't make that lawful U-turn as you claim to draw attention to myself." I don't know if I said it was a lawful U-turn. I don't know that it was an unlawful U-turn. I don't practice law in Florida, so take everything I say about any of the Florida laws with a huge grain of salt. Talk to a local attorney who's licensed to practice in the state of Florida. He says, "I made that lawful U-turn." He's really stressing the lawful, isn't he? "I made that lawful U-turn so that I could park across the street and record a DUI Wolfpack traffic stop. Despite the fact that I made a U-turn in a safe and lawful manner," that's the third time he said lawful about the U-turn anyway, "a Florida state trooper still pulled me over. That's problematic to me. Isn't it problematic to you? I committed no traffic infractions and broke no laws, but still got stopped." So, once again, just so that we can all be perfectly clear, you don't have to break the law for a cop to get reasonable suspicion to pull you over. Now, the cop only needs, for DUI, reasonable suspicion. This is a Florida Supreme Court case from 2017, Wiggins versus Department of Highway Safety. A blanket statement that they say is that every case involving a license suspension contains a Fourth Amendment analysis of whether there was reasonable suspicion to stop the vehicle or probable cause to believe the driver was in physical control of the vehicle while under the influence of alcohol. So all they need to stop the vehicle is reasonable suspicion to stop the vehicle. That's it. Case closed. Reasonable suspicion to stop the vehicle. That's the level of analysis they apply to the actual vehicle stop. So let's watch what he does. I'm only going to play a short segment of his video. I'm not going to play the whole thing. These bright headlights are the cop following Jeff, and we'll go from there. So Jeff makes what appears to be a lawful U-turn. I don't know any reason to believe it isn't lawful, other than the fact that the cop doesn't pull him over immediately for an unlawful U-turn. Okay? So the cop's behind him. Cops can be behind you. This isn't a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights to have a cop behind you. But then the cop does something that I think is very telling. The cop changes lanes without a signal, but whatever. and it starts to pass. Oh, but Jeff kicks the brake lights on as soon as the cop does that and pulls over. Well, see, now you have something that might give the cop reasonable suspicion. It doesn't have to be an unlawful act. Pulling over can have a myriad innocent explanations. It could be completely innocent, completely lawful, completely legal, but still give probable cause. You've got Terry v. Ohio. In Terry v. Ohio, remember, everything that Terry did was legal and lawful. They still gave rise to reasonable suspicion. Terry and two buddies would walk up to this one window, this one store, look in the window, walk back to the street corner and talk. They did that like 24 times, 20 some odd times, right? They'd walk up to the window, come back to the corner and talk. Then one of their buddies took off down the road, and then the other two hurried up to catch him, right? And that gave those legal, lawful things still gave the court sufficient facts to say that Officer McFadden could reasonably articulate facts that would give a reasonable officer reasonable suspicion that crime is afoot. They hadn't committed any crimes yet, but crime was afoot. So you don't have to commit a crime for reasonable suspicion to attach. Crime just has to be afoot. You could be planning a future crime, which is what McFadden thought Terry and his friends were doing. In U.S. versus Sokolow, Sokolow did things that were, at least at the time, completely legal. He bought plane tickets using $20 bills, 2 round-trip tickets with the return date left open. The name he bought didn't match the name attached to the phone number. The name attached to the phone number was his roommate. His roommate had that phone number, so he gave his roommate's home phone number. The gal he was traveling with, he had her actual name on her ticket. He used his mother's maiden name for his ticket. Not illegal, at least not at the time. He was flying to Miami from Honolulu. Miami is a hotbed of drugs, but it's not illegal to fly into Miami. He only stayed there for 48 hours. He flew, I think he had a stop in like Colorado and LA, Los Angeles. He didn't check his bags. I mean, everything that he did was legal, lawful, except for the fact that he was smuggling cocaine. And when the DEA grabbed him, they could articulate reasonable suspicion. All of the lawful things that he did added up, gave them reasonable suspicion. Illinois versus Wardlow. Wardlow was standing out in front of a building holding an opaque bag. Like you can't see through it. You couldn't see what's inside of it. It's completely illegal to do that. He sees the cops see him, he takes off running. That's not illegal. But do those things give probable cause? Absolutely. Jeff passing up a DUI checkpoint or something like that, or a traffic stop with a cop behind him making U-turn, completely legal. Pulling over. Is he pulling over because there's a cop behind him? Is he pulling over because he sees the cops ahead of him? Why is he pulling over? An action that may be completely legal and innocent by itself could be enough to give reasonable suspicion. So is it problematic to me? Well, so my personal philosophy, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't think that drunk driving should be a standalone crime. I think it should be an enhancement to other crimes. If you make an illegal U-turn while you're driving drunk, that should be a crime. But just driving drunk, I don't think should be a crime by itself, because I've said it before and I'll say it again that I don't think that the reasonable suspicion standard should be constitutional. It is, apparently, because that's what the Supreme Court says. But I disagree with Terry v. Ohio and its progeny. I think the Constitution was pretty clear that you had to have probable cause or a warrant, or probable cause. And I stand by that. I think that's the way it should be. Now, I understand the ruling of Terry, and I understand that that's the state of the law. I disagree with it, but is it problematic to me? Sure, but it's the state of the law. And he says, when they do these DUI wolf packs, cops tend to get into feeding frenzies and they start pulling over people without any sort of legitimate reason for the stop. Well, I think he had a legitimate reason under Terry v. Ohio to stop you. I think he had reasonable suspicion. He did a very short stop. I don't think he extended it unnecessarily. He stopped you long enough to get a good read on you that you weren't drinking. You weren't slurring your speech. You answered directly, even though you weren't giving answers. You directly answered. He probably didn't smell any alcohol. At that point, he didn't have any further reasonable suspicion or probable cause. He didn't have probable cause that you were drinking. So what is he going to do? He's got to let you go, right? So I think he stayed within the bounds of it. I mean, I don't really see anything terribly negative that he did. He didn't extend the stop. He didn't even ask for your driver's license. I mean, I'm good with it. He says, I think my video displays a clear example of a young, overly ambitious trooper making unlawful traffic stops. I don't think it was unlawful. That doesn't mean I agree with it. I don't think those stops should be made, but I don't think that was an unlawful stop. But then again, that's just because I disagree with making drunk driving a standalone crime, and I disagree with reasonable suspicion as the basis for any sort of detention. So anyway, I hope that helps. Again, the point of these is so you could extrapolate this out to your situation. In your situation, if your mom would raise her eyebrow and think that you might be up to something, well, then the cop probably has reasonable suspicion. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day.